Good morning, everyone. Now, let us start with the theories of arc interruption. Now, arcing phenomena in the circuit breaker is quite complex. There is a flow of heat and mass. Plasma consisting of positive ions is also involved in that. So, it is difficult to precisely predict the behavior of the arc. Now, in the past, sophisticated computing tools like computational fluid dynamics software packages were not available to the researchers. However, in order to come to the terms with the complexity, simple behavioral models were developed by the early researchers, and these models may not be very accurate, but they do provide the working models where none exist. So, first was the Sapiens theory, race between the dielectric strength. So, Sapiens theory and the race between the dielectric strengths. Now, Joseph Sapien was one of the early researchers in the field of the circuit breakers and has made numerous valuable contributions in this field. According to this theory proposed by him, there is a race between the build-up of dielectric race between the build-up of dielectric strength of the contact gap and the recovery voltage imposed by the power system. So the race between there is actually a race between the build-up of dielectric strength of the contact gap and the recovery voltage imposed by the power system. In case the dielectric strength is built up at a rate faster than the recovery voltage, the interruption is successful. Otherwise, the arc restrikes and interruption becomes unsuccessful. So, this is also depicted in this figure. From this figure, you will observe that the curve marked R, in this case, this curve marked R, it represents a way in which the system recovery voltage rises. Voltage rises after the current zero, this R1, and two instances of the rise of dielectric strength of the contact gap are shown in the curved mark S. The dielectric strength rises at such a rate that it is always greater than the system recovery voltage, that is R. Hence, the dielectric strength of the contact gap wins the race, now making the interruption successful. In the curved mark F, if you see the curved mark F, the dielectric strength, though initially greater than the recovery voltage, this one, loses the race at some point, and hence the arc restrikes and the interruption becomes unsuccessful. So this was the Sapiens theory, which is the race between the dielectric. Now, the second is actually the Prince theory. So what is the Prince theory? According to this theory, the circuit is interrupted if the length of the gas discharge path introduced into the arc increases during the interrupting period to such an extent that the recovery voltage is not sufficiently high to produce the breakdown in this path. So this theory has now been superseded by the other theories. So what the Prince theory says? The Prince theory says that the circuit is interrupted if the length of the gas discharge path introduced into the arc increases during the interrupting period to such an extent that the recovery voltage is not sufficiently high to produce the breakdown in its path, and this theory has now been superseded by other theories. Now next is the Casey theory. Right from the early days of the development of circuit breaker, it was observed there is much more to the successful arc interruption than simple race between the dielectric strength as given by the Sapiens theory. So there is much more to the successful arc interruption than simple race between the dielectric strength of the contact gap and the recovery voltage. So the energy balance theory was introduced. So in this theory, according to this theory, if the rate at which the energy is released through the arc into the circuit breaker is less than the rate at which the energy is dissipated, is less than the rate at which energy is dissipated, the rate at which the energy is released through the arc, energy released through the arc, that is the rate at which the energy is released through the arc, is less than the rate at which the energy is dissipated by the arc by the arc interruption arrangement, then the interruption succeeds under this condition. Casey developed his equation for the conductivity of the arc based on the assumption that the high arc is governed mainly by the convection losses during the high current time interval. So Casey's model proved to be very useful, especially in modeling the high current part of the arcing time. However, near the current zero, it is accurate only for the high rates of the current density. Now, next is the Mayer arc model. Mayer arc model has the following features. The arc column diameter is constant in this case. The arc temperature varies as a function of time and the radial dimension. The decay of the temperature of the arc is assumed to be due to the thermal conduction, and the electrical conductivity of the arc is dependent on the temperature. So, Mayer arc model was developed. Now, next was the Brownies arc model. So, Casey's model and Mayer model have their own limitation, and former being more accurate in the high current, that is, it was more accurate during the high current. This one, Casey model, is more accurate for the high current, and the Mayer arc model it is more accurate near the current zero, when the current is zero. So this motivated the T.E. Brownie to develop a composite model using the equation similar to the Casey's model during the high current phase, and he developed the similar equations related to the Mayer arc model. So there is no need to go deep into those equations. Now, next is the restriking and the recovery voltage. So what is restriking and what is the recovery voltage? The restriking and recovery voltage plays a very important part restriking and recovery voltage. Now, restriking and recovery voltage plays a very crucial part in the operation of the circuit breaker. The voltages are intimately related with the parameters of the power system and the phase angle of the current being interrupted. We will assume in this lecture, we will assume that the circuit breaker is ideal. The current is interrupted at the current zero, and there is no premature extension of the arc. So we assume the circuit breaker itself does not in any way alter the recovery voltage. Now, restriking voltage. What is the restriking? First, we will discuss the restriking voltage. The voltage which appear across the circuit breaker contact immediately after the arc interruption at the current zero is called the recovery voltage. So, what is the recovery voltage? Recovery voltage is actually the voltage appear across the circuit breaker. The voltage that appears across the circuit breaker contacts immediately after the arc interruption at the current zero. Immediately after the arc interruption at current zero. So this is the recovery voltage. Initially, this voltage is the result of the transient response of the system formed by the breaker contacts and L and the C parameters. So now this figure shows the model that we use for the studying the restriking voltage. Now in this figure, the system inductance is shown lumped, that is L. And then we will have the capacitance of the system. It is mostly the stray capacitance is also shown, and it is shown lumped here. Now, from this figure, from the figure A, shows the system in the pre-fault healthy condition with the current IL which is flowing through the closed contacts of the circuit breaker. The situation after the occurrence of the fault is shown in the figure B with the current IF flowing into the fault through the closed contacts of the this circuit breaker. Now the figure C shows the situation after the circuit breaker contacts part and a arc is struck between the fixed and the moving contacts of the circuit breaker. Now it can be easily be seen from this figure that the voltage across the contacts of the circuit breaker, this one, is same as the voltage across the capacitor, that is this one. This voltage is same. Because the short circuit caused due to the fault is in parallel with the capacitor, the voltage across the capacitor is 0 as long as arcing continues. So as long as this arcing continues, the voltage across the capacitor is equals to 0. So at the current 0 instant, the circuit is interrupted and the line side of the circuit breaker contacts start following the system voltage. Now, when the current it is interrupted, when the at the current 0, when it is interrupted, the circuit is interrupted, the line side of the circuit breaker, this one, is actually this line side of the circuit breaker contacts start following this system voltage. So the system voltage at the instant of the current 0, that is I equals to 0. Now system voltage at the instant of the current 0, that is the I0, is dependent upon the power factor, that is cos of phi, and of the fault current, that is what is the power factor of the fault current, and the fault power factor being highly lagging, as we know the fact that it is highly lagging at the current 0 instant, is almost equal to the peak value of the waveform, which is shown here. So it is almost equals to the peak value of the waveform. So the circuit at the current 0, that is the instant of interruption, as it is seen, the circuit at the current 0 can be modeled as the LC circuit. It can be modeled as the LC circuit with the 0 initial charge on the capacitor, 0 initial charge on the capacitor, and 0 initial current in the inductor. So it can be modeled like that because of this fact. So to which we have applied the step voltage of Vm as shown here. Now, since the voltage across the capacitor is same as the voltage across the contact gap, as we have discussed that voltage across the capacitor is same as the voltage across the contact gap, the restriking voltage, what is the restriking voltage? The restriking voltage is actually the restriking voltage is what is this restriking voltage? So this restriking voltage is the response of this LC circuit to the application of voltage Vm, this one as shown. Now so what we are getting? We are getting the Vm. We will have this voltage Vm. We will have the voltage Vm, inductor, capacitor. So when we solve it, we will get the finally we will get the this restriking voltage, that this which is actually the voltage across the capacitor C. So we have to find the voltage across the capacitor C. So the restriking voltage is same as the voltage across the capacitor C. So what we do, we will solve it without going detail in that. First we have to apply the KVL in that. So Vm equals to L di by dt plus Vc. So without going in detail in that, and I can write simply the solution of that, because it's a mathematics first year network, so the students can easily solve that. So this finally we are getting the restriking voltage. So this restriking voltage is given by Vm 1 minus cos of omega n t. So now what we have done in this in this case, cos of omega n t. So what is L? As we know that omega n equals to 2 pi fn, which is equals to root of 1 by LC. So in the above derivation, we have made an assumption of the application of step voltage at the instant of the current 0. In reality, the sinusoidal voltage, you can say, is at power frequency of 50 Hertz with the initial value of Vm is suddenly applied at the current 0 instant. The natural frequency of oscillation of the restriking voltage is higher than the power frequency, that is 50 Hertz. Hence, the supply voltage changes much more rapidly than the restriking voltage, and the assumption of step voltage is not, we can say, not much of the mark. Further, we have totally ignored the resistance of the system in the above this derivation. We have not assumed that resistance is there. So the restriking voltage appears to continue forever according to this equation. However, in the real system, we will have the resistor is present, and the restriking transient will quickly die down, and the recovery voltage will be equal to the system voltage. Now we must visualize that what is the we must visualize the waveform of the restriking voltage given by the above equation. So if we plot this equation, we are getting this waveform. It is actually wave shape of the restriking voltage. At natural frequency. So we can say that the restriking voltage starts from the 0 and reaches double the peak value of the this steady state voltage in half the time, that is t by 2 at the natural frequency of oscillation Fn. Now from this figure, this is actually the restriking voltage. Which is if you see the rate of rise of restriking voltage in this case, it is nearly about 565.685 volts per milliseconds. So it is like that. So the figure here shows we have to draw this figure is actually drawn to emphasize the difference between the undamped frequency of restriking voltage transient and the 50 Hertz frequency, this one, and the peak. Now from this what we have observed, we have assumed in this case the natural frequency which is to be natural frequency of this is nearly about 20 times the frequency of this, that is the 50 Hertz. That is the frequency of this is almost 1000 Hertz, and peak value of the restriking voltage to be 2 times the this peak value is almost is 2 times the peak value of the system voltage. So it can be seen from the figure that restriking voltage starts from 0 and quickly reaches the peak. What is the peak? Let us suppose that the Vm is 100, so peak is 200, so 2 Vm. It reaches the peak, and completes 10 cycles, in the which is time taken by 50 hertz supply to complete the half of the cycle. So when we include the resistance, however, this is the model in which we have assumed that LNC is there in the circuit. However, let us suppose that we have the resistance in the circuit. So when we include the resistance in the circuit, then in that very case, the restriking voltage will die down in due course of time. So it is shown in the figure. So it will have the damped natural frequency. First we will have the current before the arc extension, and after that, when when it is interrupted at the current zero current, then definitely this transient will die down, and so this is more realistic. Now this is the restriking voltage. So we have to find the rate of this restriking voltage. So we must take into consideration that it is not just the magnitude of the restriking voltage, but the rate at which it rises that has an effect on the success of the arc interruption process. So we can find the rate of rise of restriking voltage as we have the expression for the restriking voltage. Restriking voltage equals to Vm1 minus cos of omega and t. So the rate of rise of the restriking voltage, it is given by the expression, the rate of the rise of the this restriking voltage So rate of rise of the restriking voltage, that is RV, it is given by that we have to find the rate of the restriking voltage. Restriking voltage is the Vm 1 minus cos of omega and t, and finally we are getting omega and Vm sine of omega t, and whose maximum value is given by, so if we take the case RV maximum, so it is given by omega n Vm, which is equal to 2 pi fn Vm volts per second. So which occurs at the time of pi divided by 2 omega n. Since the natural frequency of system is given by, as you know, the fact that natural frequency of system is given by 1 by 2 LC, can be easily shown in the kilohertz range. The value of this RRV max can indeed be very large for the high voltage power systems. So now the question arises, can we somehow manage the switching within the circuit breaker in such a way that restriking voltage is reduced? So we can discuss that now. Now some of the terminologies that we discussed, that is the recovery voltage. So this is defined as the voltage which appears across the breaker contacts after the arc interruption. This tends to reignite the arc, and hence the term restriking voltage is also used. Steady state recovery voltage, voltage appearing across the breaker contacts in the steady state when it is open and is the system voltage. Then we will have the restriking voltage. Restriking voltage is essentially the transient response of the system evoked at the instant of current zero as a result of arc interruption. This is also referred to as the transient recovery voltage. It is a function of power system inductance and the capacitance. So this restriking voltage, it is given by this expression that we have discussed. The wave shape of restriking voltage is that of the raised cosine. The initial part of this wave can be approximated by the ramp-like waveform, and the frequency of this wave is given by this expression. So the frequency is this. The rate of rise of restriking voltage, it is given by this omega, and it is and the maximum rate of rise of the restriking voltage, it is this one, which occurs at a time of pi divided by 2 omega n. Now the use of the resistor during the breaking. In the previous analysis we have not used the resistor in that. Now we have used resistor here. And now the circuit model that is considered for studying the restriking phenomena, it actually consists of this inductance and the capacitance elements, and it is well known that the response is of purely resistive and purely circuit consistent of the LNC is purely oscillatory in nature, since it lacks damping, as you know the fact. So if we intentionally introduced a resistor into the circuit during the breaking process, then we can shape the transient response by suitably adjusting the value of the breaking resistance. So what we can do, we can shape the transient response, by adjusting the value of breaking resistance. That is R. Now from this figure, that is circuit breaker main contacts open. So when the circuit breaker, this main contacts open up, as it is shown here, the breaking resistor comes into the picture. We will have this breaking resistors here. Thus, even if the circuit breaker switches from fully closed to fully open, it switches from fully closed to fully open, the circuit is actually not subjected to shock, as the breaking resistance is switched into the path. So this has an effect of mitigating the effect of sudden switching of the circuit breaker. So it will mitigate the effect of sudden switching of the circuit breaker, and eventually the breaking resistor, which is an integral part of the circuit breaker assembly, is switched off by the circuit breaker mechanism to complete the breaking process as shown here. So this is the process. Then we have the fault, and then after that the breaking is there in that. So it will not. So this has an effect of the mitigating the effect of sudden switching of the circuit breaker, because the current we will have the breaking resistance parallel to that, and the current is flowing through that, and finally circuit breaker is open, and finally the breaking resistance is also out of the circuit. So how then the equivalent circuit of the system can be modified as. Now the equivalent circuit of the system can be modified as that we will have the resistors along with that. So figure here is actually shows the equivalent circuit of the breaking resistance in the circuit breaker open. So it shows the equivalent circuit of the main contact circuit breaker contacts open, but the breaking resistor is actually still within the circuit. So restriking voltage developed with the resistor in the breaking circuit can be obtained. Now restriking voltage can be obtained. How to obtain the restriking voltage? It can be obtained by solving this circuit. As you know the fact that how to solve this circuit, it's a simple circuit. So L di by dt plus Vc plus Vm sine of omega t. So solving this circuit without going detailing in that circuit, I can simply write that what's the expression that we are getting. Now we are getting that the final expression that we are getting is d square divided by d square Vc divided by dt square plus 1 by Rc dVc by dt plus 1 by LC Vc equals to 0, and the roots of the above equation can be obtained. Minus 1 by 2Rc plus minus J 1 by LC minus 1 by 2Rc whole square. Now the response will be oscillatory. Certain conditions would be there based on that. The response would be oscillatory if we will have this portion is less than this one. It means that 1 by 2 RC square is less than 1 by LCL. Finally, we are getting R is greater than 1 by 2 LC. This is the case that if the response is oscillatory. Now, response will be non-oscillatory if this thing, if this one is, if it is non-oscillatory, then if this one is greater than, this portion is greater than this one, it means solving this for non-oscillatory conditions, for non-oscillatory conditions, R should be less than 1 by 2 LC, and the response will be critically damped. It is critically damped if R equals to 1 by 2 LC. So the restriking voltage rate of rate of restriking voltage and the maximum can be controlled by suitably choosing the value of this braking resistance R. So in this case, by suitably choosing the value of the braking resistance, we can do that. Now we can discuss the phenomena which is associated with the braking of the circuit. Now, when the circuit breaker tries to switch out an element of the power system, it encounters certain phenomena peculiar to the element being switched. For example, when we have an unloaded transformer, if you see, it is being switched off, the phenomena of the current chopping may be encountered. Whereas when the capacitor is being switched off, there may be the tendency of the voltage across the circuit breaker to rise in a stepped fashion. So when we have when the unloaded transformer is switched off, so when the unloaded transformer is switched off, then we will have the phenomena which is known as the current chopping. That we can discuss. And when the capacitor is being switched off, then in that very case, what happens? There may be the tendency for the voltage across the circuit breaker to rise. Voltage across circuit breaker to rise in a stepped fashion. Now, first we will discuss the current chopping. What is current chopping? Now let us suppose that we want to trying to interrupt the no load magnetizing current of the transformer as shown here. Now it is assumed that the current is forced to zero prematurely at some instant before the natural current zero. Now current is forced to zero prematurely. Current is forced to zero prematurely at some instant before the natural current zero. So let us suppose here this is the current waveform. So let us suppose here the current is forced to zero prematurely before the that is natural current zero. We will have here natural current zero. Now what happens? Now when it's instantaneous value, that if we want to chop the current at the particular time when the instantaneous value is equal to I chop, and this is not the value at we can say natural current zero. Such premature arc extension happen in those types of circuit breakers where it happens in those type of circuit breakers where the arc quenching tendency is independent of the current being interrupted. So arc quenching tendency is independent of current and what are these type of circuit breakers? We will have this air blast circuit breaker and vacuum. In these type of circuit breakers, arc quenching tendency is independent of the current which is being interrupted. Now, as soon as current is forced to zero, the energy, as we have discussed also, the energy stored in the magnetic field of system inductance reappear as the energy in the electric field of the system capacitance. And the capacitance, as we have also discussed earlier, that it is very low. Hence, a small value capacitance needs to be charged to a very high voltage, designated as this. So we can say that restriking voltage to accommodate the given amount of energy. So energy which is stored in the inductor, in this case, is given by 1 by 2 L chop square, and energy which is stored in the capacitor, energy stored in the inductor is given by this expression. Energy stored in the capacitor, it is given by 1 by 2 C V RES square. So as soon as the current is forced to zero, the energy which is stored in the magnetic field of the system inductance appear as the energy in the electric field of the system capacitance. Now, the system capacitance is quite quite low. It is the stray capacitance, as we have discussed already. So the small value capacitance, this C, needs to be charged to a very high voltage, which is designated as V RES, and which is also known as the restriking voltage. Which is also known as the restriking voltage. Which is also known as the restriking voltage, and the restriking voltage caused because of the current chopping is given by this expression. By equating both these expressions, the restriking voltage that is obtained is given by equating these two, and we are finally getting V restriking is equals to L by C I chop. So from the above expression, what we get? We get that the higher the value of the current at which it gets chopped, more be the restriking voltage, and higher will be the possibility of the breaker not able to withstand it and breaking down subsequently, which is obvious from this diagram. Now, that is what we get. We get from this expression and from this diagram, the higher will be the value of the current at which, higher will be the value of the current at which it gets chopped. More will be the restriking voltage. This one, as per this expression, more will be the restriking voltage, and higher will the possibility of the breaker not being able to withstand it and breaking down subsequently. So it is breaking down subsequently. Now from this figure, there will be the multiple chopping of the current, which is along with the large over voltage till the current finally reaches the natural current zero. Such over voltages are harmful for the circuit breaker itself as well as for the other power system element. So in an ideal circuit breaker, the arc must continue till the current gets the natural current 0, and the composition of the contact material of the circuit breaker also plays a very important part in the maintaining the arc till the natural current is 0. Now, first this one. Now, second is the voltage build up during the interruption of the capacitive currents. Now, the voltage build up during the interruption of the capacitive currents. Now, a phenomena that occurs of the voltage build-up in the stepped manner is observed when the interruption of the capacitive current is there. Those phenomena can be studied with the help of this figure. This one, it can be studied with the help of this figure. Now, the top portions of the figure depict the circuit model which is used for studying that. We will have this L and we will have the C and the capacitor which is being disconnected, and the system is represented by the series inductance L and the stray capacitance this one, and the capacitor being disconnected, as well as the circuit breaker contacts are also shown here. Now, because of the capacitor, the current in this case leads the voltage by an angle of 90 degree. Thus, at the current 0 instant, you will see at the current 0 instant T1, at the current 0 instant T1, the voltage is at its peak. The voltage is at its peak, that is Vm, and action starts at the instant T1. At this instant, the system voltage as well as the capacitor which is being disconnected are at the voltage plus Vm, if you see. So the voltage across the circuit breaker contacts in this case is equals to 0. The system voltage is also Vm, and here we will have this voltage is also Vm. So in this case, it is 0. So this is obvious from this diagram. Now, in this diagram, if you see at the instant T1, if you see the system voltage as well as the capacitor which is being disconnected is at the voltage Vm. So the voltage across the circuit breaker contact in this case, if you use the KVL, so it is 0, and the successful interruption takes place at the instant T1, with the result that capacitor C is left with the charge which is trapped charge corresponding to the voltage Vm. Now, the right hand side of the circuit breaker, if you see, the right hand side of the circuit breaker is held at the potential of plus Vm, while the left hand side swings along the system voltage. It swings along the system voltage. Now, at the instant T2, if you see at the instant T2, which occurs half a cycle later after the 10 milliseconds, the system voltage attains the value of minus Vm. At this instant, the contact gap is therefore stressed to the voltage of 2 Vm, and this can be taken as an application of step voltage, you can say, of 2 Vm, and peak restriking voltage is 2 times of 2 Vm, as we have discussed. So the peak restriking voltage is equals to 2 into 2 Vm, which is equals to 4 Vm. So we get the 4 Vm. Since the RHS, if you see, the right hand side of the contact gap is constrained to remain, the right hand side is constrained to remain at Vm. A jump of 4 Vm in this case is achieved by swinging this end to the voltage of minus 3 Vm. And if somehow the contact gap can withstand the transient restriking voltage with the peak value of this 4 Vm, then attempt to disconnect the capacitor can be considered to be successful and phenomena does not occur further. However, it is assumed that it is assumed that the peak value of the 4 VM does not cause the contact gap to break down, giving rise to high frequency discharge through the contact gap, since the natural frequency of system is much more than the system frequency. Now, this high frequency discharge provides a number of current zeros. Eventually, the contact will recover, but in this process, there will be a charge transfer from the this left hand side to the right hand side, leaving the capacitor C with the charge corresponding to the voltage of minus 3 Vm. Now, in the meantime, the LHS end of the circuit breaker contact continues its swing in synchronism with the system voltage. Now, when the LHS end swings to 4 Vm, swings to plus Vm, when the LHS end, it swings to plus Vm at the time t3. If you see, it swings to plus Vm at the time t3. The gap is stressed to the voltage of, that is, 4 Vm applied across the contact gap, and the peak value of the transient restriking voltage is 2 times of that, that is 8 Vm. So the restriking voltage is 8 Vm in this case. However, since the RHS of the contact gap, RHS is constrained to 3 Vm, so it is constrained to 3 Vm, to minus 3 Vm. A restriking voltage of 8 Vm is achieved by the LHS of 5 Vm. Assuming a high frequency discharge to take place just after the this instant t3. After the instant t3, the RHS end of the contact attains a voltage of plus 5 Vm as shown here. Now, using a similar reasoning, it can be shown that at the instant t4, the LHS swings to minus 7 Vm and so on. Thus, at each peak value of the system voltage, the contact gets subjected to a higher step voltage, developing a higher peak restriking voltage and so on. So theoretically, the voltage will go on building up in a stepped manner to dangerously very high voltages. So it may be noted that in EHV systems are concerned, voltages of the order of 2 Vm are even avoided. If the voltage is of the order of 2 Vm are avoided. So these voltages are avoided if the order is 2 Vm. So what we do in actual practice, surge arresters will have to be used to suppress the buildup of high voltage. So we use the surge arresters to prevent the buildup of high voltage. Now, this phenomena can be explained by this table. In this table, we will have this time, system voltage, initial voltage trapped on the capacitor, magnitude of the step voltage, peak value of the restriking voltage, direction of step voltage as well as restriking voltage, what LHS swings on, and the voltage transferred to the RHS after the high voltage strike. So this is shown from this table also. So this is all about that is a phenomena associated with the breaking of the circuit, that is the current chopping, and second it was the voltage buildup during the interruption of the capacitive currents. So this is all about this lecture. Thank you very much.